And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. Our package today, as usual, is centered on the people's aspiration for rapid development in Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta region. And we begin with the ongoing debate on the control and application of 13% oil derivation funds by state governors in the Niger Delta. Our second report takes a look at how the government of IBOM state is utilizing its share of 13% oil derivation funds to benefit its people. Next in our lineup is the people's reaction to our recent call by the Pan-Niger Delta Forum PANDEF for the establishment of a South-South Development Commission. We will, in the course of the program, bring you an updated report on the ongoing feud between Nigerian AGIP Oil Company and its host communities in Omoku, headquarters of Ogba local government area of River State. And finally, into this package, we will furnish you with details of what the Niger Delta Ministry is doing to meet the December 2021 deadline for the completion of the East-West Road reconstruction project. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, determined to make a difference.
Glad to have you back on the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. The ongoing debate on how the statutory 13% oil derivation funds are applied by state governments to benefit oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta was the subject of discussion at a recent book launch attended by the Delta State Governor OKOWA in Asaba, the Delta State capital. At the meeting, Governor OKOWA and other leaders in the Niger Delta insisted that the argument should focus more on the urgent need to consider an upward review of the 13% derivation formula, which is grossly insufficient to effectively tackle infrastructure deficit and widespread poverty in the region, rather than question how it has been utilized. Correspondent Chika Bodozie tells us more.
Recently, several groups in the Niger Delta, notably the oil and gas host communities of Nigeria, HOSCON, and the reformed Niger Delta Avengers, accused state governors of mismanaging 13% oil derivation funds, urging the federal government to channel such funds through oil mineral areas development commissions for the benefit of oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta. Speaking at a recent book launch in Asaba, Senator OKOWA disagreed with perceived talebearers of Niger Delta governors, insisting that unlike other parts of the country, infrastructure development in the Niger Delta has been a daunting task due to its difficult terrain.
They have failed to understand that the Niger Delta region is not exactly like any other region. I've had the opportunity of constructing roads in the riverine area, and I know that the cost is not the same with what we have on land, and neither is that cost the same with constructing a road in Abuja. The issues are different, the cost elements are different. The cost of transportation is huge. And it's obvious that a lot of people, when they speak, they do not even have a clear understanding of the part of Nigeria that they are talking about.
Erudite scholar Professor G.G. DARAH and other speakers at the event held that the 13% derivation formula adopted by the federal government in 1999 amounts to economic injustice, which is a recipe for violent conflicts in the Niger Delta.
You cannot own a resource and somebody else enjoys it. Warri and Efru are the most wretched oil-producing capitals in the world. It should not be so. Nigeria takes 87% of the oil money every day. 30% is given to the states that produce. They are arguing that we should come and give account of 30%. They don't account for 87%. And the equation there is the equation of inequality. 30% derivation is equal to 87% deprivation.
Over the years, the problem with governance in Nigeria has been the imprudent management of resources for the common good of the citizenry. It is on this note that some observers would want to know if stripping the state governors of the responsibility to manage and control 13% oil derivation funds is a guarantee that the funds would be utilized to make any difference in the lives of largely backward communities in Nigeria's oil belt. With regard to the Niger Delta experience, there's a general consensus on the need to revamp intervention agencies and other related institutions of government, just as President Muhammadu Buhari has done with the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC.
There is need to strengthen our institution. The institutions are being weakened by the day. The NDDC ought to be, a good interventionist agency that will turn around this region.
Proper resource governance must come with resource control. We need to feel more impact of the oil revenue, which we generate from our communities, and the hazards we also suffer.
With over 88% of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings generated from crude oil and gas produced in the Niger Delta, the region's backwardness is indeed a travesty of justice. Lately, the backward state of the Niger Delta has taken the front burner in several meetings where political activists have continued to push for resource control and prudent management of funds meant to ameliorate the sufferings of impoverished communities in the region.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In a bid to utilize its share of 13% oil derivation funds to benefit the people, the Akwa Ibom state government few years back launched the King's Flour Mill project, which is today a success story. Less than 2 years after King's Flour was first rolled out from the mill in August 2019, it has become a leading brand in the local market. In the last 2 years, Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State has dedicated the state's budgets to rapid industrialization. In 2019, its 670.72 billion naira budget was christened Budget of Industrialization for Poverty Alleviation. In 2020, its initial budget of 597.74 billion naira was also christened Budget of Industrialization for Poverty Alleviation Part 2 to continue its industrialization policy. According to Governor Udom, his vision is to use the state's funds to industrialize the state away from the civil service mono-economy, targeting job creation, wealth creation, and poverty alleviation. So far, Governor Udom Emmanuel has established 18 industries which are producing consumables, including the largest syringe manufacturing factory in Africa, a digital electric metering solutions manufacturing company, as well as a fertilizer blending company. Others are a virgin coconut oil refinery, a palm kernel crushing plant, and the King's Flour Mill, just to mention but a few. The King's Flour Mill, which officially launched its first products into the market on August 8, 2019, is today described by very proud and satisfied Akwa Ibomites as a leading brand in the market, sought after by end users from different parts of the country.
I am so proud that it has come to reality. King's Flour is everywhere in Akwa Ibom State and outside of Akwa Ibom State. In fact, the other day I was in Port Harcourt. I was surprised to see King's Flour in shops. The governor is doing well. The state is doing well in this administration. And I want to say kudos.
There was a time that some people said they couldn't find it here and major distributors are outside the state. And when we found out, we discovered that many people in Akwa Ibom State refused because they didn't believe it was coming to stay. They refused to be distributors. And then other people who knew that this thing was coming to stay actually was given the distributorship. So Akwa Ibom people needed to go outside, buy it, and bring back home. But in all, I feel happy and fulfilled that that project has come to fruition, and the bakeries and other users of the product are using it and are saying it is good.
King's Flour Mill is strategically located in Ona local government area of Akwa Ibom State for easy port access and deep market penetration. It has the capacity to produce 500 metric tons of flour daily and provides employment for over 1,000 persons.
It is a clear indication that the industrialization drive of His Excellency the Governor is bearing fruits. So many people thought it was one of those political promises that will come and go and just evaporate into thin air.
You get to a shop and you see every flour they are talking about King's Flour. Not even in Akwa Ibom State. I can tell you, some states around Akwa Ibom State. I can mention Cross River State, Rivers. You see them, people buy it, people enjoy it. I think every other person should applaud the governor. It's a welcome development, and as a matter of fact, I think this is one of the things that is really taking Akwa Ibom State to that level in terms of industrialization. The governor has done so well.
King's Flour, a relatively new product, is already making waves in the market due to its high quality. It is described as the preferred choice for bakers in Akwa Ibom State and beyond.
Many of us, Bakers Association, we go for King's Flour. It's relatively cheap, and the yield, we get the kind of yield that we should get in a bag of flour. And when you finish the products, when you finish the flour, the output is very smooth. You can see, very smooth compared to other flour. When we use other flour, they reject our product. But when we use King's Flour, our product is fast selling.
In Nigeria, where Niger Delta governors are constantly being accused of not utilizing the huge funds accruing to their states from statutory allocation and 13% derivation for the betterment of their states, Governor Udom's industrialization policy and the rest of his 8-point completion agenda can be described as a quiet revolution that is opening up Akwa Ibom State to foreign direct investment, providing jobs for its people, alleviating poverty in the state, as well as increasing revenue generation for the Akwa Ibom State government.
Inside the Niger Delta. Heritage Bank. Service, performance, respect, integrity, innovation, tenacity, excellence. Heritage Bank, your timeless wealth partner. Azikel Group. Oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability, and infrastructure development.
The support declared by the Pan-Niger Delta Forum for the establishment of a South-South Development Commission at a recent public hearing in the House of Representatives is generating mixed reactions from Niger Deltans. While some respondents have endorsed the proposed commission as a channel to access more funds to improve the economy of Nigeria's major oil-producing region, others say the proposal is at variance with the people's demand for a restructured federation that allows for the operation of fiscal federalism and resource control.
At a recent public hearing on a bill for an act to establish a South-South Development Commission in the House of Representatives, PANDEF had endorsed the move for what it attributed to the region's underdevelopment, despite having been Nigeria's economic backbone for several decades. The Forum of Leaders in the South-South said, while it was aware of the existence of the NDDC and other intervention agencies created to cater for the needs of the Niger Delta, it was also convinced that the South-South geopolitical zone deserves more equitable share of Nigeria's oil wealth. The group hinged its argument on the premise that in the South-South geopolitical zone are the major oil-producing states that are faced with the most severe cases of environmental pollution.
The reason behind such move for the creation of a South-South Development Commission is to ensure that the oil producing region of Nigeria is being developed more.
If the South is producing more than 70% of the resources of this country, and they are not able to develop the region, let us have such commissions. NDDC will deal with almost 11 states now adjoining NDDC. So the NDDC thing has been bastardized. It was for the oil mineral producing areas. But Anambra want to join, Oyo want to join. They are waiting to exhaust oil and gas before they face their resources, including Zamfara, where gold is now being made a private property of the state government.
Other Niger Deltans are, however, not comfortable with the proposed South-South Development Commission, which in their reckoning will most likely tow the path of existing intervention agencies that have failed to transform their region.
The call by PANDEF for the establishment of South-South Development Commission is uncalled for. All that I expect PANDEF to do is to deploy their energies towards ensuring that NDDC delivers on its mandate to the people of Niger Delta.
For those opposed to the establishment of a South-South Development Commission, the idea is counterproductive to the region's quest for fiscal federalism and resource control.
Why some are talking about restructuring? Some people are coming up with South-South Commission. I think it's a wrong time, a wrong target, not at the right time. I think that those things they are coming up with are counterproductive. We cannot carry elephant on our heads, use our leg to kick snail. No.
It's misplaced and it's not at all tailored towards achieving resource control and fiscal federalism that the people of Niger Delta have been asking for over time.
In the vanguard of the campaign for resource control in Nigeria are 4 of its 6 existing geopolitical zones. It is the considered opinion of most Nigerians that the controversy over resource control is born out of a fierce competition for an equitable share of the country's oil wealth generated in the Niger Delta. This scenario is indeed a wake-up call on the federal government to begin to implement economic diversification policies in preparation for an inevitable post-oil economy.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Host communities to Nigerian AGIP oil company in OGBALAND have vowed to withdraw their social license from the Italian oil giant over alleged corporate social responsibility infraction. A group operating under the banner of Onelga Oil and Gas Landlord Families Organization Incorporated came up with this decision recently following many years of alleged exploitation and neglect by the oil major. Correspondent Tekana Mefuri has the report.
In 1994, AGIP signed a lease agreement with its host communities in OGBALAND in which it was required to pay a paltry sum of 50 kobo per square meter of the total landmass it occupies in Omoku communities. Whereas the terms of the lease agreement provides that it will be reviewed periodically to reflect changing economic trends, AGIP has allegedly refused to comply with that provision in its tenancy agreement.
The land rental, Shell paid last month in my area, they have only one well. They paid them 15 million naira for 4 years. But AGIP is paying us 200,000 for 5-10 years. A difference. What a shame.
AGIP's exploitative tendency had ignited a restive ambience in its host community, which necessitated the federal government's intervention in January 2019. In disregard of a directive from the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, AGIP has refused to renew its lease agreement with host communities in OGBALAND. Consequently, the Onelga Oil and Gas Landlord Families Organization insists that AGIP has the option to begin to operate as a responsible corporate citizen or vacate the area.
How could it be that a Minister of Petroleum, after sending an investigation team, will recommend do this, AGIP will ignore it? Presidency will write and say, Go and settle these people. AGIP will ignore it.
So we don't know AGIP and the federal government who is the owner of the companies, because by my understanding I know that the federal government owns 60% of these assets. So AGIP have refused and disobeyed the federal government. For that they have refused, so we want AGIP to leave since they have refused to give us our demands.
The disenchanted oil-producing communities accuse the company of employing divide and rule policy as a strategy to perpetuate poverty and misery in OGBALAND.
Knocking our head together because of not doing what we need, and they will just select one person and then give something of the community to the person, and then when the other people go to ask, they say, well, I think we don't collect. Now, all those things, from now, let them stop it. We don't need it again.
We are calling on ENI in Europe. We'll call on the president of ENI. We'll call on the vice president, who also came and said they should give us our rights here, which they refused. That those things they said they should give to us has not been given to us.
They should go.
If they're not ready to operate in Onega, in Niger Delta, they should go. If AGIP is not ready to operate in our land, they should go.
The people's exclusion from resources generated in their land clearly violates provisions of Article 2 of the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. When contacted for AGIP's position on the matter, General Manager Public Affairs in AGIP Barry Wibani said his company would respond through a public statement to be issued from its head office in Abuja.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has reiterated the federal government's commitment to complete sections 1 to 4 of the East-West Road Reconstruction and Dualization project by the end of 2021. Senator Godswill Akpabio gave the assurance recently in Abuja, where he met with representatives of the state governments and other stakeholders in a complementary program for the East-West Road Reconstruction project.
Contract for the reconstruction of the East-West Road, traversing 5 states in the Niger Delta, was awarded in 2006 and built for completion by 2010. However, it has suffered undue delay owing to paucity of funds to ensure its speedy completion. In June 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari directed immediate release of about 20 billion naira to facilitate work on the project and subsequently directed the Niger Delta Ministry to take over its supervision. While substantial progress has been achieved on Section 1 of the 188-kilometer carriageway, Section 2, spanning Kayama and Eleme Junction in Port Harcourt, is still in a terrible state, prompting the Niger Delta Ministry, under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio, to devote over 3/4 of its 2021 budget to the completion of the project by the end of 2021. This commitment was reiterated by Senator Akpabio at his recent meeting with stakeholders in a complementary program of the East-West Road Reconstruction project.
I have noted with satisfaction the signs of commitment and dedication that we are receiving from all counterparts towards the attainment of the objectives of this program. Under the watch of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, the target is to deliver completely sections 1 to 4 of the East-West Road on or before December 2021.
The complementary program is in place to create a synergy between the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs and state governments to ensure that upon successful reconstruction of the road, adequate provisions will be made for its durability, safety and aesthetic appeal for the comfort of road users and to promote commerce in the Niger Delta region.
The management of the road will enable the road to last. The management of the corridor will also bring the aesthetics and then show beauty. And I think this is where the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing must be very excited about this approach. So the commitment that this ministry brings to this roundtable of counterparts must therefore be complemented by the support of all the counterparts in terms of action.
Can we make the East-West Road a model? Bear in mind that that region or that area is the breadbasket of the Federation, and you have a lot of all the IOCs are there, and some of the giant companies are also located there. So let's all think together and see what we can make out of it.
High points of the meeting was presentation of advisory notes containing next year's work plan for the East-West Road project to representatives of state governments. On completion of sections 1 to 4 of the road by December 2021, the federal government will commence the process of revalidating a contract awarded for the reconstruction of section 5 of the road from Oron in Akwa Ibom State to Calabar, the Cross River State capital.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And with that report, we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Until next week, I am Mamode Akugha, thanking you for staying with us. Bye for now.